posting on hashtag holidays will increase engagement and sales. That is absolutely not true, and I'm going to talk you through why that is. Hello and welcome to Engage and Thrive, also known as EAT, your coffee catch-up with me, your host Taelon, where we will go through common problems and hurdles that come up in business, marketing and advertising and try and demystify them. I know firsthand how complicated and confusing it can seem with all the different acronyms and all the things to do in business. So let me try and help you be better in business. First things first, let's start with grabbing a coffee. Okay, to explain what a hashtag holiday is, or what I'm referring to, is things that happen like Earth Day. Okay, so Earth Day, people may do a sing and dance about, people may celebrate, everyone may come together at 3 a.m. and turn their lights off, but really you notice these holidays as such on social media. So you don't get a national vacation or holiday day off for it, but it's a day that is celebrated online on social media around the world. And when I say about the holidays as well, I mean you could look up any calendar and you'll see them years in advance, months in advance. You can use Hootsuite, you can use Google Trends. There's another one called National Day, so you can look all of them up and you can plan them in advance. So they are what we would call as trending days or hashtag holidays. So the reality of posting on a hashtag holiday, it may seem like FOMO, fear of missing out, that if you don't post on it, everyone else is going to be doing it. But the reality is there's quite a few things to consider when you're trying to select what days to post on. And trust me, you don't want to be doing every single hashtag holiday that exists, because there's pretty much a hashtag holiday every day. And I think one day I saw before that it was like 7 or 8 different hashtag holidays on one day. So can you imagine if you're trying to create content for those different variations? It just wouldn't make sense and it doesn't align to your brand. As always, let's cover vocab. So the first one is a hashtag, and I'm doing this because I'm trying to do an impression of a hashtag, which I know I can't because I don't have 4 arms, but a hashtag would be used and then you would have a word or a phrase, or in this context you would have the trending holiday, the hashtag holiday. So example, hashtag Earth Day, and you would use that in your caption or your post or your story. So then the idea that if people are following that topic or that hashtag holiday, your content could also get seen and picked up. The next one is ER, which is engagement rate. So what is the engagement rate of people interacting with your content? Next one is CTA, call to action. So again, if you are creating content for these hashtag holidays, what call to action, what do you want people to do with your content? Are you just doing it as a brand awareness thing, so to jump on it because it aligns with your brand and you want to try and be seen, or you wanting people to do something with it as an outcome? To give you an example, hashtag small business Saturday, you may be trying to push people to buy more things from you, so to get more sales from it. Whereas hashtag Earth Day, you may just be trying to make sure that you're maybe doing a CSR piece, or it's actually something your brand is quite vocal about, but it's more of a brand awareness one, so you don't have a CTA, a call to action. The next one is ROI, as always, return on investment. So like I said, if you were trying to do 7 or 8 different hashtag holidays in one day, you're probably going to get no return on investment, because the time you spent creating all of these, what are you actually going to get from it? Because what's relevant? Another one is UGC, and I always get tongue twisted around this. So UGC is user generated content. Again, what could you be doing for these hashtag holidays? That's getting your audience to generate content for you that you could then use on other days and for other situations and sharing information about your business or brand. And the final one, which is content calendar, it's not necessarily an acronym, but it's something that people talk about in this context. So hopefully you have a content calendar that you're planning, and this isn't only for social media, but for all your marketing and all your content going out as a brand. But your content calendar is very important in this context, because your hashtag holidays, you can plan, like I said, months, years in advance around what ones you want to jump on and use. So today we're going to be covering off 3 key takeaways, and as always with the takeaways, it's actually things to consider when you're trying to decide what hashtag holidays to do. So I'm not telling you shouldn't do hashtag holidays. I'm not telling you that you should do every hashtag holiday. But the point is that these are 3 points to consider and help you make better decisions about which ones to use. Number 1, quality over quantity. Always wins. So really with the hashtag holidays, it's important to make sure you are considering what are your brand values, who's your target audience, what content does your target audience care about, what values does your target audience have, what content would your target audience want to engage with. And then when you're thinking about the different hashtag holidays, it's how do you align with all of those, and so therefore what's relevant for your brand to be posting. So to give you some examples, hashtags can be broken up into really 3 categories. You'll have your mainstream hashtags, which is like hashtag Earth Day, hashtag International Women's Day, hashtag World Mental Health Day. Now, these being mainstream doesn't mean don't do it. It just means pretty much any business could post on these ones, right? Any business could have an opinion, business or person could have an opinion about it, or you don't need to necessarily have an opinion about it, but they are ones that they're fine to post on and they're quite generic. Then you may have more niche hashtags like hashtag National Coffee Day, hashtag Small Business Saturday. Now, obviously, if you're a large corporate, you wouldn't be posting on hashtag Small Business Saturday unless you've got a partnership with a small business that you want to promote. The same with National Coffee Day. Likely that if you're a coffee brand or you use coffee in your products, then you may want to post about National Coffee Day. But if you're a service provider and you're kind of posting about your need for coffee, it's a stretch, right? Again, I'm sure you can find a way to post about it, but is it really relevant? Is your audience going to care that you're posting about National Coffee Day? And then super niche would be things like hashtag World Backup Day, hashtag National Handwriting Day, hashtag National Inventors Day, hashtag National Farmers Day. As you can see from those examples, they are super niche and really need to be relevant to your audience and to your brand for you to be posting on them. So that's what I'm saying about aligning with your brand values, obviously what your product and service is as well, and what your audience cares about. Number 2, which is measuring effectiveness. I love data, so I'm always going to say measure the effectiveness. And at the end of the day, any marketing that you're doing, whether you're reporting on it or not, you would want to know what's your return on investment, your ROI, and would you do it again? So one thing with the hashtag holidays to think about is you may decide, okay, let's try these 5 this year, or let's try this 1 this month, or whatever it is, and create some content and then see the performance against your typical content. Or you may want to look at the performance against getting new engagements, so new audience or new versions of your target audience. The other thing to think about is when you've posted your content, or if you're trying to plan for that content for that hashtag holiday, you may want to do it next year, is having a look at the benchmark and having a look at what other people are posting around that and who's getting good engagement. So it's one thing to kind of look at, oh yeah, well this big brand or our competitors posting about it, so we need to post about it. But are they getting engagement? Are they actually getting the comments and interactions from the target audience that you want? So it's one thing getting like lots of likes, but you want to get comments, you want to get that conversation going, because that community is really where you want to be building it on social, especially around hashtag holidays. So you want to be owning your voice in that space and having that feedback and community loop. The other thing to think about is adjusting based on results. So if you posted something this year and it did okay, the content was mediocre, the engagement was so compared to your normal content, then like I said, go and have a look at what competitors are doing or other people are posting on that hashtag holiday. Look at trends in the market, look at types of content. So did you post a static post, but actually next year let's try and do a video or a GIF or a meme or whatever it is, and then trying it again, but adjusting what you did to be more relevant to your audience. Which all of that kind of nicely leads into number 3, which is plan and prepare. So just because it's a hashtag holiday doesn't mean that that content deserves any less respect than any other piece of content that you would normally schedule and create for your brand or your personal brand. because it's still being posted on your social profiles. And if anything, give it a bit more respect, because there may be more people on that hashtag on that day. And obviously you want more eyeballs. So make sure it's aligned with your tone of voice. Make sure it's aligned with your color palettes and your branding and your styling and everything around you that reflects you. If you want to nod to certain days because they have colours, so for example, International Women's Day has a very distinct white, green, and purple. And if that aligns with your brand, then cool, do it. If it doesn't, or it doesn't feel comfortable, don't do it. Remember, it's still your brand. The other thing with the planning and preparing, so obviously schedule it in your content calendar, make sure you're prepared, but be ready to engage as well. So it's one thing posting out on the hashtag holidays, but if you've got a strong opinion or a voice about it, use it as an opportunity to try and engage with other people's content on that hashtag. And like I said, if it was the hashtag Small Business Saturday, engage with other small businesses if you're a small business. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell about hashtag holidays. And I hope, as one of the biggest takeaways, is that you don't need to do every hashtag holiday. And by doing every hashtag holiday trending day, it doesn't mean it's going to increase sales or eyeballs on your brand or anything. And just to reconfirm, hashtag holidays, I mean, hashtag Earth Day, hashtag Small Business Saturday. It's not trending viral content that just happens right now. These are the ones that you can look up, as I mentioned in the resources earlier, and I'll link in the show notes, and you can plan them in advance. So it's jumping onto those ones, because I know that it's harder to plan and decide what you're going to do for the trending viral ones. But remember, quality over quantity. And at the end of the day, if you're posting something for a hashtag holiday, you're still posting on your brand. But thank you for joining me for another episode of Engage and Thrive, and see you next week.